Qualifying is over. And it looks like it's going to be a single heat here tonight. So they will start with Doug Tyler Norton up front and Joseph Smith next to him. Andrew Thornton and Butch Baker on the second row. Brian Mansfield, Edmund Jones on the third row. Zach Bache, Mason Salas rounding out the 8-car field. Sorry, Matt. League race, you'd have to join the league to hop in, buddy. They'll accept new applications after the final race of the season next week for the next season. Pace truck will be dropping off here in a moment. Pace truck is in, and here they go. Green flag back in the air. We are down and away. Heat number 1. Joseph Smith gets a good run off into turn 1, but Doug Norton fighting back on the inside. Andrew Thornton coming up with Butch Baker on the outside. We've got a car in the wall back behind. I believe it's Edmund Jones. Caution is out. Yes, Edmund Jones in the wall. They were 3 wide going off into turn number 3, and it looks like just got a squeeze, got sent down, and bounced off the inside car. Edmund going to pit road for some repairs. He'll be back out in just a moment. Meanwhile, Joseph Smith has managed to take the lead early on. Doug Norton second, Andrew Thornton in third. Butch Baker's fourth, Brian Mansfield fifth, Zach Bache sixth, Mason Salas now seventh, and Edmund Jones will take eighth when he comes off pit road. We'll mention, as we did in the 360 race, that the pace truck driver here is a little off his rocker, so we might see some weirdness out of the pace truck as they start to stack back up for the restart. Pace truck is in. Green flag back in the air, and Joseph Smith on the bottom down into turn number 1. Doug Norton up top trying to make up some ground, but not enough. Here comes Andrew Thornton, though, on the inside. As Doug Norton seems to be losing a little bit of ground, they're going to try and get 3 wide. No, they stay 2 wide off of turn 4. Andrew Thornton right down by the wall where he said he would be. They're 3 wide back behind briefly through 1 and 2. Oh, Andrew Thornton gets bumped. He goes backwards a lot of spots. Edmund Jones gets caught as well. No caution. Joseph Smith pulling away from the field. Now we've got a caution. Let's see if we can. There's Edmund Jones as Andrew Thornton. He manages to check up, not get into him. There you see Andrew Thornton on the left side, drifted up off of 2, gets into Doug Norton, drifts down, gets into Brian Mansfield. Fortunately, everybody manages to save it. Joseph Smith looking for the pace truck because that dude's just out of it. That pace truck driver. I'm really thinking that Lanier needs to hire a new driver for their pace truck. That dude has no idea where he's going, ever. Flagman had 1 to green. We'll have to see. They may delay it just to get the field back together. We'll see if they get everybody back together, if the pace truck drops off here. Yep, pace truck is in. Looks like everybody is going to be close. Green flag in the air. 2 laps to go. Joseph Smith out front. Doug Norton on the high side. And now Butch Baker. Here he comes on the bottom. He was looking for the lead, but Doug Norton gets back by, and here comes Zach Bache up on the high side. White flag in the air for Joseph Smith. Doug Norton now back in second, down on the bottom, trying to get up there. Can he get to Joseph Smith in time? They send it off into turn 3. It won't be enough. Joseph Smith is going to win the heat, and what a close battle back behind him as Doug Norton finishes second, Butch Baker third, Zach Bache fourth, and Salas comes home. Mason Salas comes home in fifth. All right, quick warm-up session here. Edmund Jones rolling off. Let's see. Doug Norton making his way off pit road. Andrew Thornton, first one out on track. And the Salas fan club definitely in the house tonight, as Justin Salas is here, Travis Hiller's here, the whole gang is here. One of these days, I'm going to get me a fan club. Note, Edmund Jones in a new paint scheme tonight. Andrew Thornton in a new paint scheme. Butch Baker in a new paint scheme. Several new paint schemes out here tonight as they get their warm-up in. And Andrew Thornton did say that new paint scheme has made him quite a bit faster. He was fastest in practice. Didn't qualify that great. He's second fastest right now, as Butch Baker just took the fastest lap from him. Butch Baker still fastest, Thornton second, Mansfield third, Edmund Jones fourth, Doug Norton fifth, Mason Salas now sixth fastest, Zach Bache seventh, Joseph Smith eighth. Looking at the lap times of the top six, pretty close right now. Things could get interesting out there, especially based off that first heat. We'll have to see how things change once the track slicks off, but could be a very close battle here tonight. Oh, a little bit of a bump, and Doug Norton and Andrew Thornton side by side. We've seen that bottom line really work here tonight. It'll be interesting to see which line is the fastest, both early on and once the track starts to slick off. All right, warm-up is over. It's time to go racing. All right, for the feature, it's going to be Joseph Smith and Doug Norton on the front row, Butch Baker and Zach Bache on the second row, Mason Salas, Brian Mansfield on the third row, Edmund Jones and Andrew Thornton rounding out the field. Pace car rolling off. Pace car will drop off in turn 4, and they will go green this time. Pace truck is in. Green flag is in the air. The feature is underway. And they're going to try 3 wide right away as Butch Baker looks to the inside. They get single file for a moment, but here comes Zach Bache up high. Oh, a little bit of a touch from Butch Baker into Doug Norton. Back behind, Brian Mansfield clears a couple of cars and now making his way forward. Here comes Andrew Thornton and Mason Salas battling side by side. Edmund Jones slips by Andrew Thornton here. Meanwhile, Joseph Smith, while all this battling is going on behind him, Joseph Smith has pulled out an 0.8 of a second lead over Doug Norton. But they are nose to tail. Butch Baker coming right up to the back bumper. Brian Mansfield now up to 4th, starting to march his way toward the front. Zach Bache now up to 5th. Mason Salas in 6th. Edmund Jones in 7th. Andrew Thornton in 8th. And Joseph Smith just playing it smart, not pushing it as hard as he can right now. Doug Norton has his hands full with Butch Baker right now as he tries to hold him off. And while they are battling, Brian Mansfield inching closer every lap. Butch Baker trying to get something going on the outside. Hasn't been able to make anything happen yet. Zach Bache now starting to close in on this group as well. Andrew Thornton right there gets past Mason Salas. Mason holding on to it as Edmund Jones looks underneath. And now the battle for second as Butch Baker finally gets by Doug Norton. Doug Norton trying to fight back on the bottom, slips up to the middle. And here comes Brian Mansfield looking for third. Brian looking for anything he can get, any position, any points he can take an advantage here over Butch Baker going into next week. But Butch Baker pretty much has the points locked up. While this battle is going on, it's starting to spread out just a little bit behind him. Zach Bache currently in 5th. Andrew Thornton starting to close down that gap. Edmund Jones now in 7th. Mason Salas hanging on in 8th. And Butch Baker finally starting to open up a little bit of a gap on Doug Norton. Brian Mansfield closing down on Doug Norton right now. Doug Norton has had his hands full since the drop of the green flag. Zach Bache now under attack from Andrew Thornton. Track starting to slick off on that lower line. You see Andrew have a little wiggle there off of turn 2. Getting the back tires just a little bit higher through 3 and 4 and gets one heck of a run down the front straightaway. Now fully to the inside of Zach Bache as they come out of turn 2. He's almost got him cleared. Zach sends it into 3 and 4. He's going to cross over to the bottom. Can't make anything happen. Andrew Thornton now to 5th. Zach Bache currently running in 6th and trying to fight back for all he's worth. Doug Norton, meanwhile, holding that bottom line. Caution! Looks like Zach Bache. And Zach pushing extremely hard. Gets the wall off of turn number 2. Trying to get the car turned around, backs up into the wall. So Joseph Smith currently holds the lead. Butch Baker in second, Doug Norton third, Brian Mansfield fourth, Andrew Thornton fifth, Edmund Jones sixth, Mason Salas now in seventh. Really surprised to see the field spread out as much as they did early in the race like they did. Lanier tends to be a race where everybody is very close to each other the entire time, but Joseph Smith so far the dominant car. Looks like he is choosing to restart on the high side, giving Butch Baker the inside. Pace truck is in. Green flag back in the air. Joseph Smith on the high side down into turn one. Butch Baker trying to do something with him on the bottom. Mansfield looking on the high side has not been able to get the run on Butch Baker yet. Doug Norton and Edmund Jones battling right behind him. And here comes Andrew Thornton and Isaac Salas. Mason Salas. I'll get the right brother in a moment as they continue to try and march their way forward. Joseph Smith has not been able to run away with this one so far. After the caution, they are staying very close. Butch Baker right on the back bumper. Brian Mansfield right there. They're side by side behind with Edmund Jones and Doug Norton. Edmund on the high side, managing to stay in fourth. Doug Norton keeps diving to the inside. Doug Norton gets touched. Caution should come out here in a moment. Maybe not. If this thing stays green, Andrew Thornton's position could be. There's the caution. Let's see if we can get a look at what happened there. As they go off into turn number one, and Andrew Thornton just got a little deeper and a little bit higher. They get together. Doug Norton goes around. Joseph Smith continuing to lead, has not been able to, since the lap 19 caution, has not been able to open up a gap on Butch Baker. Brian Mansfield staying right with him. Edmund Jones, Mason Salas, everybody staying right there together. And with another caution here, this could tighten the field back up and keep it very close together for the remainder of the race. "22 laps completed, 18 to go." Everybody stacks up. Joseph choosing the high line again. Pace truck is in. Green flag back in the air. Can Butch Baker do anything with him on the bottom? Now Brian Mansfield looking down there, and here comes Doug Norton. Doug was looking underneath Brian Mansfield, briefly loses. Oh, Andrew Thornton gets in the back of Mason Salas. Mason turned around. He gets a corrective caution. As Edmund Jones gets into the wall out of turn 4 as well. And it looks like that might have been a netcode issue, as those two had a little bit of space between them. And let's see what happened to Edmund Jones as he's battling Brian Mansfield here. And looks like he might have gotten a little tap on Mansfield that sent him outward. All right, Joseph Smith continuing to lead. Butch Baker still in second. Mansfield in third. Doug Norton in fourth. Andrew Thornton in fifth. Mason Salas in sixth. Edmund Jones seventh. Zach Bache out of the race in eighth. Everybody on track and lined up, ready to go. Lights went out on the pace truck. Joseph Smith choosing to restart on the high side again. Look for Butch to send it hard into one to get anything he can. Green flag in the air. Off into turn one. Butch Baker trying to make something happen. It's 3 wide back behind him. Brian Mansfield in the middle. Here comes Andrew Thornton. Gets up into Doug Norton. And oh my gosh, Mason Salas into the gap on the back straightaway. Caution is out. I'm betting he has to go to pit road for repairs. Let's see what happens here as they battle 3 wide right in front of him. He gets a good run up off 2, looks to the high side, and just not enough room. And yeah, it looks like he had to tow back to pit road. A bit of a heartbreak as he was having a good run, especially later in the race. Apparently brother Isaac taught him how to run in the slick because he was carrying a lot of momentum there. Joseph Smith still in the lead. Butch Baker in second. Mansfield in third. Doug Norton in fourth. Andrew Thornton in fifth. Edmund Jones in sixth. And there you see Mason blowing up on pit road. He'll get repaired in a moment. Be back out on track. Everybody stacking back up. Again, Joseph choosing to restart on the high side. Pace truck is in. Green flag back in the air. Can Butch Baker do anything with Joseph this time? Down to the bottom. He's got a nose ahead coming out of turn 2. Butch Baker has got a run. He is in the lead. Now Joseph Smith fighting back on the high side, and they're 3 wide behind him again as here comes Andrew Thornton on the bottom trying to get around Brian Mansfield. And Doug Norton up top. Meanwhile, Joseph Smith trying to fight by on the high side. Butch Baker moves up half a lane. Not giving him any room to work with here. As they go off into 1 and 2, they touch briefly on the front straight or into turn 1. Caution is out. Looks like another Doug Norton gets loose off of turn 4, comes down and gets Andrew Thornton. And a rough night for both Andrew Thornton and Doug Norton, as both have been caught in a lot of different incidents here tonight. But Butch Baker has now assumed the lead. Just over 10 laps to go. Butch Baker choosing to start on the high side this time. Well, did Joseph Smith learn anything on that last restart? Mason Salas back out on track. 2 laps down at the moment. Pace truck is in. Green flag back in the air, and Joseph Smith learned a little something. He gets a good jump into turn number 1. Up to the high side. Now they're going to try and go 4 wide off turn 2. They can't do it. Brian Mansfield on the bottom. 3 wide through 3 and 4. And Butch Baker, the points leader, stuck in the middle. He gets shuffled back. Oh, and it gets into Mansfield. Caution is out. Brian Mansfield goes around. There you see Brian Mansfield and the 97 get together. Then here comes Edmund Jones behind. Everybody else manages to clear it. And this should be good news for Mason Salas. He should be getting a lap back here. Joseph Smith now back in the lead. Andrew Thornton showing in second. Doug Norton third. Brian Mansfield fourth. Edmund Jones fifth. Butch Baker back in sixth. All right, everybody stacking up again for the restart. Pace truck is in. Joseph Smith on the high side now is to contend with Andrew Thornton. Green flag in the air. In pre-race, Andrew Thornton said he was going to make that bottom line work. Looks like he's got it going out of turn two. He's got a nose ahead. Mansfield back behind on the high side. Doug Norton behind on the bottom as they cross the start-finish line. It is still Joseph Smith with 10 laps to go, but it is side by side, dead even through the corners. And Joseph Smith gets a good run up off of turn 4, jumps back in the lead, and here comes Brian Mansfield on the high side. Andrew Thornton still trying to make something happen on the bottom, trying to get around the Joseph Smith. But Mansfield carrying so much momentum on the high side might pull off the second place pass here. Butch Baker, the points leader, trying to make some ground up. He is trying to take fifth from Edmund Jones. Edmund still fighting back on the high side. Meanwhile, Joseph Smith has his hands full with the 31 on the bottom. Brian Mansfield right behind him. Doug Norton losing a little bit of ground on this group as Edmund Jones and Butch Baker close in on him. 6 laps to go. And this battle behind Edmund Jones, Butch Baker, they are just about leaning on each other every corner. Butch trying to get that nose ahead off into turn number 3. Mason Salas still lurking back there, hoping for an opportunity to get back to the lead lap here. They're going to try 3 wide here. Mason might get lucky here in just a minute. Edmund Jones backing out of it. Butch Baker now to 5th, looking for 4th from Doug Norton. 3 laps to go. Joseph Smith has finally cleared Andrew Thornton completely. Andrew in 2nd now has Brian Mansfield looking on the high side. Butch Baker, Doug Norton battling. Butch Baker now to 4th. How much further can Butch Baker clear in 2 laps? Doug Norton still making that bottom line work off of turn number 4. White flag in the air for Joseph Smith. Andrew Thornton going for one last shot on the bottom. Can he make something happen down to the bottom? It's not going to be enough here. Joseph Smith will win. Andrew Thornton finishes 2nd. Brian Mansfield 3rd. Butch Baker in 4th. Doug Norton finishes 5th. Edmund Jones 6th. Mason Salas finishes 7th. And Joseph Smith, a strong win here tonight. Definitely had a heck of a battle up front, had his hands full all night, but a great run out of him. And Andrew Thornton has joined us. Congratulations, man. That was a great 2nd place run.
Oh, thanks, Doug. And it definitely eventful, man. And me and Doug Norton seem to find each other more often than not this time.
Yeah, you guys definitely seen anytime there was an incident, you two were pretty close together.
Oh, yeah, you have those nights, and just like finishing 2nd at Eldora either last week or 2 weeks ago, man, I'll take being lucky over good any day.
Well, I think you had a little bit of both tonight. You managed to come through the field from behind after a little bit, but managed to pull out the 2nd place finish. That was a great run.
Oh, well, thank you, man. And Bro Cephas himself, man, he'd done a great job holding off Butch and then getting back up front with a little bit of luck, and I didn't have nothing for him on the bottom, I guess.
Well, you definitely were able to hold off a couple of guys down there on the bottom, and a heck of a 2nd place run, man. Congratulations, buddy.
All right. Thank you, Doug.
And Brian Mansfield finishes third tonight. Did not close the gap much on Butch Baker in the points, but managed to beat him on track.
Yeah, it was a good race. The Lanier's tough, but these cars are a lot of fun here. I found something at the bottom there toward the end of the race, but when we lined up on that last restart, I lined up to the outside and I just couldn't get back down to the bottom. I was catfishing it before that last caution and found something there and was able to pull alongside Joseph a couple times. So, but good job. It was a blast racing next to Andrew, man. And Doug, early in the race, Doug, congratulations to Doug, set fast time and good job to him. And I tell you, it was a good race. Had a lot of fun.
Oh man, it was a great show for sure, and another third podium finish for you has gotta be good this late in the season.
Oh yeah. We got one more week left, and pretty much go right into the fall season. So appreciate what you do, Doug. Appreciate Commons Family Museum and Shelby, North Carolina. If you're ever up in the area, stop by and see my friend Phil.
All right, man. Congrats, buddy.
Thank you.
And Joseph Smith, tonight's winner, and what a hard-fought win that was, bud.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, I'm sweating sitting here watching that 97 get closer and closer. It was definitely nerve-wracking.
You guys had a heck of a battle up there. It seemed like early in the race it was whoever got to the bottom, and then later on those restarts, it was whoever restarted up top would have the advantage.
Yeah, I got real lucky that restart. He picked the top side. I was able to get the jump on him and kind of do a slider to get back up there.
And it was an impressive restart. Once you got to the front that nobody could touch you, there was some battling going behind. Had to have helped a little bit, but man, what a run and way to hold everybody off too.
Oh yeah, thank you. It made me real nervous having that 31 behind me. Kind of scares me a little bit.
Well, that new paint scheme definitely made him a little bit faster tonight.
Oh, it must have helped me too. Edmund's paint scheme, Warlord Wraps must have definitely helped me because I hadn't won one here yet.
Well, he definitely did in dominant fashion tonight, man. Congratulations, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, that was your winner, Joseph Smith. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to come back Wednesday night for the Outlaw Cup Series and the limited late models as they finish out week number 9, getting ready for the final week of the new season next week. Points battles pretty well going to be settled after tonight. At least the champions are settled, but a lot more to come next week. A lot of battles have to be sorted out, and definitely looking forward to watching that. Hope you guys had as much fun as we did here tonight. Congratulations to our winners, and congratulations to Butch Baker and Cody Olson for winning their championships in great fashion here tonight.